Hi, Cozy Adventures. Happy May Day, and happy Mother's Day month. And I'm going to be spending the month exploring different floral fragrances. And I'm starting today with daisy fragrances because they really remind me of my mother's garden. Like when I was smelling all different perfumes in the store and, you know, countless perfumes, the one that stuck out the most one day was daisy because it actually smelled like real flowers to me and reminded me so much of my mom's garden. And so, which always has daisies in it. And so today I am trying these different ones on, and then I'll probably give them to my mom. Daisy itself has this floral bouquet that smells pretty fresh, and then it also does have a vanillic sweetness in the deep dry down that wafts around, even though I don't really smell it when I smell up close. But it doesn't last for very long, so I'm curious to see if it gets a little more oxygen, if it lasts longer, or if it's just going to be one that doesn't last for very long, like only a couple hours. Or you just need to overspray, which I'm not used to doing. So that's that one. Oh So Fresh is sticking around longer in my skin, and it's kind of like the regular daisy, but with that fresh flower bed pumped up where I can kind of smell the grass too around, like a fresh cut wet grass and dirt, but it's also got a sweetness. It's just not a vanilla sweetness. I think I like this one the most because it feels so kind of unusually like a fresh flower garden to me. And then Daisy Love does not smell like the other two. I can't remember what the notes are, but one of them's cloudberry. It smells sweeter and mostly like a really generic fruity floral sweet berry thing going on. So I'm not so into that one. And then Daisy Dream has wisteria, and I grew up not only with my mom's flower garden outside, but our front porch had a vine of wisteria going around it. So that smell of wisteria is very nostalgic for me. And it smells a little bit more purple flowers than the original Daisy, but it's not as wisteria as I would prefer, because I would like something that's like smells so wisteria like to me. Yeah, it's not enough wisteria. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I just wanted to update on the Daisy fragrances that I'm trying today for May Day and the beginning of Mother's Day month. So yeah, I'm trying 4 different Daisy fragrances today, and in the deeper dry down now I can report that that Daisy and Oh So Fresh both become a very close skin scent after 2-3 hours. Daisy's skin scent is more floral. Daisy Oh So Fresh, actually, even though the original smell of it for the first hour or two is even more green, grassy, floral, it dries down more woody. So like I don't even smell any florals anymore. I just smell some cedar now. So that is interesting. And yeah, if you like a burst of like some fresh floral green goodness, but then want to go through the rest of your day having just a like very, very, very light skin scent of cedar, then that's a good choice for you. And yeah, Daisy Love, I just still don't like. I don't generally like berry fragrances. I like currant, but I don't like berry. It just always smells to me a little bit harsh, a little bit headachy, a little bit like a cheap bath wash. pardon me, it's it's spring and it's allergy season. And then Daisy Dream, that I was excited about because of the wisteria, is overpowered with another berry. It's got blackberry, and so both of these last a lot longer, but they last with these berry notes that I don't really like. This one, both Daisy Dream and Daisy Love. But if you like berry fragrances, if you really like a fruity floral to be fruity and berries, then you'd probably like these two. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I'm going into various purple florals for this Mother's Day month. I did a big long video on sweet citruses and orange blossoms. I didn't post any shorts, but it's like a long video of a bunch of shorts of my exploration of those fragrances, so you can check that out if you want. And now I'm moving into lavender, starting with one that overlaps with the lavender and orange blossom, and that is Libra, or Lieb, or Liebe. And Lieb Intense is the one that I'm loving the most right now. And for Mother's Day, it's got a particular sort of warm, womanly vanilla going on, along with the Guerlain Intense. Libra Intense, Guerlain Intense, and Burberry Goddess are my three that I've given to my mom already because they feel beautiful, depthful, and motherly. And the Libra Intense I'm really enjoying right now in the spring. In the winter, my favorite was the Lieb Vanille Couture, and this recently, when I smelled the regular Lieb, I loved it a lot more, or I liked it a lot more. I didn't really love it before, and now I'm like, oh, I see how this is when the weather warms up. It kind of opens up and becomes more, I can smell more of the citrus and the ambergris, like a little bit of saltiness. And I was like, oh, I think in the depths of summer, I'll actually like this one the best. And the Vanille Couture wasn't smelling as good to me because it was feeling a little heavy. But right now, this is the perfect one. And it has tonka in addition to the vanilla. And that, I think, tends to be my fave when there's a flanker with a big dollop of tonka added. It mixes with the vanilla and sort of makes this enveloping feeling that I love in a perfume, but without being super heavy. And then Lieb, or not Lieb, Guerlain, Mon Guerlain Intense is another favorite fragrance for Mother's Day. Did I already tell you this? I gave my mom Lieb Intense and this one and Goddess before, like for Christmas. Those were the fragrances I picked out for her. So they feel motherly and womanly in a beautiful way. This is my favorite, the Mon Guerlain Intense. This has just magicalness in it. I like Mon Guerlain too. This is sort of the Pretty Princess version, and this is the Grown Woman version. But the Grown Woman version for me is more intoxicating. It just feels more special. The regular Mon Guerlain I like for bed because it's less heavy. Hi, Cozy Adventures. Continuing with my favorite vanilla lavender fragrances that I found. So I was talking about, and particularly for Mother's Day, these are wonderful sort of warm, womanly fragrances. One is the Burberry Goddess, one is Guerlain Intense, and one Mon Guerlain Intense, and one is Libra Intense. The Libra Intense is an orange blossom, lavender, vanilla, like blended together really well in a way that makes one smell that is very recognizable through all the Libra versions. Goddess has a cocoa note, which I don't really smell in it. It also has ginger in it that I smell in the beginning. But both the ginger and the lavender through the wear fade off, and the vanilla kind of gets bigger and bigger and deeper through the wear. So that's Goddess. And yeah, Mon Guerlain is really pretty, sweet lavender vanilla, and Mon Guerlain Intense is this like depthful, addictive lavender and vanilla for me. So moving on to some other kinds of lavender fragrances, I got this secondhand, so I didn't make this dent, but even getting this secondhand is an expensive choice for me. And I don't know, there was something when I tested it where I was like, I think this could be a signature scent for me. And even though I'm trying so many fragrances all the time that I don't really have any signature scents right now besides for bed. Coffee Break just really resonated. Like, I feel like myself when I wear it. Some perfumes feel more like sort of wearing a costume or trying things on. This is a like a sweet, milky coffee, like a lavender latte, but it does have a little patchouli in it, and that reminds me somewhat of Angel and of, which is like a chocolatey patchouli sweetness, and of Black Opium, which is a coffee patchouli sweet fragrance. But the patchouli in those other ones bothers me more, and this one feels more balanced and blended in it. Every so often I'll like smell a whiff that smells a little heavy on the patchouli to me, and that can be cloying to me, the mix of patchouli and sweetness, but mostly it's good. It also reminds me of a lavender version of Intense Cafe, which I love, which is like a rose latte, and that one does not have that patchouli element. My next few lavender fragrances for Mother's Day month that I'm exploring are related to Coffee Break in my head, or to my nose, and those are Naxos by Xerjoff. I don't think any of these actually have a coffee note, but they still smell, they smell so similar that they smell like they could have coffee in it. One of them, the Naxos, has tobacco in it that I think does something similar for me as the sort of creamy coffee in Coffee Break. The other one is Rehab by Initio. That one, let's see, what is it that has? Cedar and patchouli. Yeah, so it's still got somewhat sandalwood. So it's got a creamy, like, woodiness with the vanilla and the lavender. Does it even say vanilla? It doesn't even say vanilla. But it does feel like similarly creamy, and then it has that patchouli in contrast with it that is blended pretty well, but sometimes bothers me a little bit. Rehab is a little bit fresher, but also in the deeper dry down a little bit sweeter. Like, it starts to smell more like a vanilla to me. I like it. And then Naxos, unfortunately, the little tester spray thing fell off or broke off or wasn't working. This has also cinnamon in it and honey in it, which sometimes stick out more to me, but yeah, for some reason, even though neither have coffee, they really smell in the same family. And then I noticed that Oud for Greatness also has lavender in it by Initio, and Rehab almost feels like it has a couple drops of the Oud for Greatness. Like, at some points there feels like there's a little bit of a deep underbelly to it. Like, there could be a little dollop of oud deep in there. So I'm curious if there's like a little bit of the Oud for Greatness mixed in, or if Oud for Greatness has a little bit of Naxos mixed in somehow. But I would say that these are all kind of the same profile for my nose, and it's a profile I really like and I'm really intrigued by. It might be better for like fall, winter for me. Hi, Cozy Adventures. So I'm going through my last few lavenders for now that I'm exploring, and then I'll get into some other purple florals. So Ariana Grande Cloud has lavender blended into it, and I don't know that it sticks out as being obviously lavender because it's blended in with this Baccarat Rouge DNA and pear. But yeah, when I was on purpose focusing on that, I was like, oh, I do smell that. And I think it makes it gives it a little bit of freshness that it could, and like herbal quality that it could be. It could get into like sort of too cloying, and instead it is really, really well balanced. So that's Ariana Grande Cloud. And then I have Sniff Gentle Reminder, which is lavender and ube and I think a tea. And I really like tea fragrances in general. They just come off like really pretty to me. Like they feel really feminine to my nose. Like they tend to feel like they're in a pretty princess category to me. Yeah, I like a lot of sniff fragrances, but I do have a little bit of allergies to them, so I have to be careful about like where I spray it and how I spray it. But this is a really comforting scent, very sweet. Nice for maybe a cold spring day, but probably more of a fall winter scent, that one. And then Pacifica Blue Moon is interesting because I wore it the other day while I was kind of trying some of these other ones on, and I was like, oh, this is reminding me of so many different fragrances throughout the wear. It reminded me of the original Mon Guerlain. It reminded me of Charosa 59, which is like a vanilla and violet, kind of vanilla and candied violet smell. It reminded me of, what else? I feel like there was a third one. It reminded me of the Pacifica Island Vanilla. I feel like a couple other ones, but I was like, oh, this just feels like it's like trying to get the best of all worlds of all these different sweet vanilla lavender fragrances. But it does have a little something that smells chemically to me that makes it not as magical as it could be. So yeah, I'd be tempted to purchase it because it covers so many different fragrances that I love in the sort of trajectory of the wearing experience. But yeah, there is some sort of like cheap chemical smell that I'm getting as well. Hi, Cozy Adventures. So I am wearing some powdery purple florals today. Some fancy powdery purple florals. They are, let's see, there's 4 of them that are Guerlain and 1 that is Xerjoff. So that's why I'm saying they're fancy, because they're kind of fancy brands. And I'll start with Shalimar L'Essence. I probably could have tried Shalimar by itself too. Maybe I'll do that later. But this is that new Shalimar that's like a 1930s perfume, I think originally, or earlier I think, because I think it was a flapper perfume in the 20s. So it must have been in the 20s or in the teens or something that Shalimar came out originally. But this is Shalimar with a big, huge dollop of more modern, more gourmand style vanilla that's just thick and creamy. And the kind of signature Guerlain vanilla that is so kind of intoxicating. Plus the Shalimar, which at first is a very strong smell that smells kind of leathery, but as it dries down, it gets more and more kind of a powdery purple floral and vanilla blend, and then mixed with that vanilla. So that is Shalimar L'Essence. And then I have Insolence, which I just talked about as an orange blossom fragrance, but it's also a purple floral. When I smell it, I really do get like a purple picture in my head. It feels kind of like those violet candy, powdery, sweet. Yeah, like sweet floral powdery candies of orange blossom and violet. I think it's violet that's in this. Could be iris or something, but I think it's violet. And then samsara, when you first spray it, it smells really strong and vintagey, similar to shalimar. And then as it dries down, it gets into a soft, subtle purple floral powder. And these I was wearing when I went outside earlier to take my dog out, and I had such a beautiful wafting scent bubble of purple florals. And my post office worker friend didn't compliment me, so I was wondering, oh, maybe she doesn't like these powdery ones, because a lot of people think they're grandma perfumes, but these are like delicious grandma perfumes. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I'm continuing on with my powdery purple fancy florals, and we just did 3 different Guerlain fragrances. And then I also have Mitsuko, which is less of a traditional powdery perfume and more of a, what's the word? I think it's called Shipra fragrance, where it has oak moss at the bottom and does it have tonka? It has oak moss, it has a floral, and it has like citrus at the beginning. I think that's, I still am like learning about what that means exactly, but Mitsuko smells a lot like Necco wafers, which again is a sort of powdery but spiced, not just floral, but spiced powdery candy. And yeah, I find that kind of fun to wear. Trying to find where I sprayed it. I think it was there. Yeah, if you want to smell like spicy conversation hearts or something like that, I feel like that's what this ends up smelling like on me. But I also can smell the mossiness. I can smell the like going through a dark forest sort of feeling in it, amidst this powdery spiced candy smell. So that's Mitsuko. And then I just got this out of my little cabinet of minis, and this is the regular Shalimar to compare with the L'Essence. The purple floral that's in it is iris. Wow, my nose is really changing. Like I'm starting to be able to smell, even at the top, I can smell more of the notes and the, like what the perfume's supposed to smell like in these vintage fragrances. Where before I would like be so hit by such sort of strong, complicated scents that it would just smell like, oof, like heavy vintage perfume that doesn't smell like anything except for perfume to me. And I'm now being able to smell the notes better. Yeah, it does have this leathery thing that I just really don't like. So for me, it really needs, like with the Shalimar L'Essence, it really needs that big dollop of vanilla. And then my last powdery purple floral, fancy floral, is Dama Bianca by Xerjoff. And a lot of people use this one as like a wedding fragrance. It has multiple different purple florals and is sweet and powdery and kind of ethereal feeling. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I'm going to go through a bunch more purple florals or fragrances with a purple floral note that's like detectable to me. They're not like all overwhelmingly about the purple floral. And I'll start with a few more powdery purple floral smelling fragrances. One is this Simply Belle, which is included whenever you get a fragrance net shipment usually. So I have a bunch of these, and I actually like it, like having gotten more into powdery fragrances. It's just sweet, subtle, powdery. It has a little bit of peach, and the purple floral in it is violet, and it's got musk and vanilla. Yeah, nice, simple, soft, clean, powdery, and not so vintagey smelling as like a lot of the other ones that I've been talking about. And then Mancera's Black Vanilla. This one, at first, I smell the rose in it a lot, and what else does it have? It has a little peach as well. But in the deeper dry down, the rose kind of lifts and the peach kind of lifts, and I smell more of the purple floral along with a nice deep vanilla. And it's on the powdery side, but it also has a vanilla that's not just powder. It's got a depth and a creaminess. And then Lolita Lampica, I think this one's actually the Mon Premier, the like reformulated one that's vegan. I'm not sure what they had in it before that wasn't vegan. And sometimes the licorice in it is overwhelming to me. This one I think is a little less licoricey than the original, so I actually prefer it to the original. And I'm also a vegan. But yeah, a lot of people say it smells like a fairy perfume to them. This also has violet. It's like violet licorice. It's got cherry in it, but I don't really identify it. My nose doesn't identify it as cherry when I smell it. It's got a sort of sweet plastic doll candied flowers kind of smell. But yeah, I really like in the deep dry down. I remember when I first tried it, I was like, oh, once it gets the deep dry down, it makes my skin smell like it's like sweet doll skin. Like that is my skin. It just naturally smells like a sweet doll. Hi, Cozy Adventure is continuing sniffing and talking about some purple floral fragrances for Mother's Day month. The next one I'll talk about is, let's see, Vera Wang Embrace, which I'm trying to figure out if I would give it to my mom, or I feel like there's something a little too synthetic smelling for my mom. I kind of like it when I smell it in the bottle, but when it's on me, it gets like a little bit sour, which confused me. It's got periwinkle and iris and violet, and it's very sweet. But yeah, there was something that soured on me, and maybe I think there's maybe a cream note. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, it's not being easy to look up. Anyway, I had this sprayed on my shoulder last night, and I kept smelling it and got in the deeper dry down, and I was like, I like it better, but it's still like there's something off about it to me on my skin. And then I grabbed this Fracas sample or decant from Fragrance Nut, and Fracas is a orange blossom tuberose fragrance largely, and I remember reading that Madonna used to wear it, and I got a little decant of a very vintage bottle of it, but this is new, like from a new bottle, and it's definitely like sweeter and less like thick. There's something like thick and decadent about the original that feels a little bit cleaned up in this one. But anyway, I sprayed it on my hand and I liked it, and then I sprayed it on my shoulder on top of the periwinkle and iris by Vera Wang, and those two together made a really yummy, decadent, like Flormond, like very sweet floral fragrance that I was kind of enjoying last night. So if I keep this, that's what I'll probably do, is just always mix it with something else, like see what else it'll mix with, because there's something I like in it, but there's something, yeah, that just goes off on me. And then Eclat d'Arpège by Lanvin. This I am giving my mom a sample of for Mother's Day. And this is a lightly sweet, maybe a little bit more kind of tangy, fresh purple floral. Hi, Cozy Adventures. This is Eclat d'Arpège by Lanvin. And just a little dabber bottle of it. And I gave my mom some of it in a little spray sample bottle, or I'm going to be giving it to her for Mother's Day. This has wisteria in it, and wisteria is really nostalgic for me and my family. I feel like I already talked about it. Oh yeah, because there was a daisy fragrance with the wisteria. So our front porch in my early childhood home had wisteria around the entrance, and so that smell is so much my childhood. And I know I've smelled like a Yankee Candle of wisteria that really smells like that smell that I remember, and so I'm hunting for a perfume that'll give me that smell. But this one, like I can understand that it's in there, but it's not the star of it enough. I want something that's like really thickly, primarily wisteria. That would be nice. But this feels like a very just like light, grown up floral, like someone that just wants to smell like just lightly, sweetly floral. Hi, Cozy Adventures. Continuing on with my purple florals this month for Mother's Day. I have a couple of body care things that are fragranced and a couple of fragrances today. So I will start actually with the fragrances. I put on today Commodity Milk Orchid, which I've had a sample of it for a while. There's something about the Commodity Milk series that I think is maybe like super heavy on ambroxan or some other chemical like that that feels like a blaring trumpet to me if I smell it up close. And if I smell it further away, it smells good. The Commodity Milk also in the deep dry down leaves that trumpet smell even after the other scents fade away. So I smell a little bit of that in Commodity Milk Orchid. I'm curious if I was spraying it from a more diffuse, like full bottle spray, if it would bother me as much, because like when you're spraying in a sample, lots of times it's kind of a heavy spray all in one spot. And that's kind of what bothers me the most with an ambroxan kind of chemical, is if there's too much in one spot, it makes a smell that I don't like. Anyway, Commodity Milk Orchid, I think I like mixed with some other fragrances. I don't remember. Oh, it lists Vanilla Orchid. And what else does it list for purple florals? I think that's it. So nothing like actually fully purple in the list of notes, but it smells like a purple florally vanilla, but also like a thick cream. Not really like a dairy cream, but it has macadamia. And I think it lists milk, but I don't smell like a lactonic smell exactly. It's more like a thick, creamy lotion that's vanilla with a soft purple floral. So there's that one. And then the other one I'm wearing today is REM by Ariana Grande, and it's another one that's got pear and lavender in it. It seems like that's like one of her faves. So I have that on. And then for body care, this oil, Lavender and Wild Orchid, I have those two fragrances on. They didn't smell that good together, but then if I put some of this oil on with them, it's like really delicious. smelling. And this is like an after shower oil for me. And then I also have a Sol de Janeiro 59, the body spray and the shower stuff. And I also have the cream, which is really nice and thick. And this has, I think also has vanilla orchid and maybe violet. This one smells more purpley than a commodity milk orchid, which smells more vanilla, macadamia with just a slight floral in it. And anyway, these all would be nice layered, I think. You can shower with this and put the lotion on and put a little of the lavender wild orchid oil. And this is one that I've loved for many years, like possibly if it's been around for 30 years, I've loved it that long. I feel like I had this back when I was like living at my parents' house. So that was a long time ago now. But yeah, I really recommend it, and it helps sort of bring a lot of these purple florals together since it has both the orchid and the lavender in it. Hi, Cozy Adventures. So I have a couple more perfumes to talk about today that in my purple floral exploration. I have Perfumology Boutique and Chance, here it says Autondra. I got this from someone almost empty on Mercari because I just wanted to see what it felt like to spray from the big bottle. And it was a regretful purchase, I would say, because I got this and a few other from them, and a couple of them the spouts didn't even work and the perfume seemed to have gone off, and so yeah, kind of a silly purchase. But anyway, I noticed that these two had some major similarities in the notes. They both have cedar and grapefruit and iris, and I can smell like a whiff of this in this, but this has a lot more going on. Boutique. It's supposed to smell like walking into a beautiful perfume boutique and smelling like various fragrances in the air. But it is blended in a really smooth way. It's thicker for sure than Autondra. The iris in it is orris root. Hi, Lucy. It's orris root, so it's got a creamier consistency, a thicker consistency to the purple floral. And yeah, Chance is just sort of like a light wisp of purple floral in with that very fresh, grapefruity kind of scent. Yeah, I'm really loving the Perfumology Boutique. And then I was looking at on Fragrantica what people have said it smells like, and people listed Angelique Noir, even though it doesn't have any Angelica listed in it. Like, you wouldn't be able to guess that by the notes, but I can totally smell Angelique Noir in it. Like, it smells actually very similar in some ways, which makes sense why I'm so attracted to it right now, because when I tried Angelique Noir last week or the week before, again, I was like, oh, this is like the perfect time of year for it for me, because suddenly I think it smells so delicious and so good, and I wasn't that into it in the winter. So I think it's that it does have like a more floral herbal thing going on with the powdery vanilla. Boutique, does it even list vanilla? It doesn't smell, I think, differently than Angelique Noir. It does not feel like a thick vanilla powder, but otherwise it has somehow comes together smelling very similar. Hi, Cozy Adventures. Continuing on with some more musky and molecular purple florals. I have Molecule 01 Iris, which when I was going through like floral musks and molecular musks, this was my favorite, I think. It's a skin scent that's like very your skin but better, that to me just smells really sexy. It's got that cedary kind of smell from, what is the molecule? Oh, one, what molecule is it? ISOE Super, and then Iris, and that's it in it. And I really like that on me. I also have back out some of my Glossier U's. Glossier U, Glossier U Rev, both have Iris. Rev is a thicker, sweeter version of U, and U is a more lighter, muskier, peppery kind of version of the fragrance. Also Skin Sense, but I would say Rev gets a little bit more of a strong fragrance, I think, emanating. And then I am confused. So I went with my partner to Sephora the other day because he had a gift certificate for, what store is it in? Sephora is inside a store that I can't ever remember what it's called, but he had a gift certificate for that store. So I ended up getting Eau Fleur, and it's so weird that it's called Eau Fleur and it's this beautiful lavender bottle, but it's the one out of all the U's that does not list a purple floral in it. It lists only a couple of yellow florals, and so I'm confused by it. It makes me wonder, does it actually have iris in it? They just didn't list it. And do they all have iris? Is that part of the sort of foundational base of U fragrances? So I'm going to see if I can get to the bottom of it right now. So this is a regular U. U Rev. Yeah, this is a lot stronger scent. The color of the U Rev is this like magenta. I don't know if you can see just the writing on it. It's magenta, and I feel like it smells like magenta. Yeah, and I really smell the pepper, the black pepper in Glossier U. I think it's black pepper. That's what I think I'm smelling. Let me look. Now I'm curious if I am right. Oh no, it's pink pepper. Yeah, it's a pink pepper that feels so obviously pepper, maybe because the rest of the notes are pretty light, so it doesn't, so the peppery smell to me really stands out in a way that black pepper lots of times stands out. Okay. Yeah, just in the air when I spray it, like it smells like a musky, sweet purple floral. Right now it's actually kind of reminding me of the commodity milk orchid that I used earlier today, but definitely fresher than that. Yeah, I wonder if I'd be so confused if it didn't have the lavender bottle and lavender marketing. No, I feel like there's purple in there. So I'm going to count this in my purple floral exploration, even if it lies and says it doesn't have it. I think it does have some iris or orris in it. I didn't really talk about the Molecule 01 Iris much, which is the ISOE Super plus Iris. I just sprayed it a little bit. Yeah, I think compared to the U fragrances, which are all a little bit more like musky, fresh, this one is more soft and sweet in the way it wears on me. It smells really good on top of my oil that I'm wearing that has lavender and orchid. Yum. So that's Molecule 01 Iris. Like, this is one that's like an expensive perfume that I might end up springing for someday once I get through a lot of my other stuff that I have, or before then. I don't know. I just really like that one. I've explored so many fragrances kind of adjacent to it, and that keeps being my favorite. And then while we're here, totally different, totally opposite kind of fragrance. I have Tom Ford Black Orchid, and the purple floral in this is the orchid. And it is not a light and musky fragrance. It's an earthy, it's still sweet, super complex. This version of it, the EDP, I do have like immediate attraction to. I accidentally got a sample of it that was the version that's in the gold bottle, the like latest version, which I think is Parfum or something. And I don't like that one. I can't remember right now in the notes like what changed that made me not like it, but I figured it out at some point. Anyway, this feels like a dark, dark purple. Like a deep dark. Do I have anything that's that color around me? Not dark enough, no. But like, yeah, that dark purple that could almost be like a purple maroon. But so dark that in dark lighting it might look like black. It's got a thickness to it and a mysteriousness to it, and yeah, I totally get why people love it, and I get why people wouldn't love it. You know, it's not a light, easygoing perfume, and if someone was wearing a lot of it, I'm sure it could be very overwhelming. Like, I just do a tiny dab of it when I put it on, and it's long lasting. Hi, Cozy Adventurers. I'm going to get through my last purple florals in my purple floral exploration for Mother's Day month right now. So I have Alias, which is in that Glossier You skin scent category. And Alias, the purple floral, is violet. Or not violet, it's orchid. And so it's interesting, sprayed near Black Orchid by Tom Ford. Then I can really smell that orchidiness. And it turns Black Orchid into more of a like hotel lobby sexy scent. Because that's the maker that makes Alias is a fancy little boutique hotel, and the fragrances, lots of them smell like that. And then the last several are they're all violet. So I have Alias 2 and You Do, and both of these, the purple floral in it is violet. Let me see. And I've compared these before when I was doing musks. They're pretty similar. When the maker Alias 2 dries down, there comes out a little bit of a chai spice, which is different and nice. And the Glossier You maybe has a little bit more freshness to it, but the purple floral is very subtle, not very sweet, violet or violet leaf, kind of in the background with some ambroxan or some such. And then I have Frederic Mal Lou de Hyver. I don't know how to say that. And this has violet in it, along with a bunch of other notes. It smells like licorice too. I don't have the notes up for me right now, but I remember from smelling it before that it has kind of a complex floral smell. But knowing that there's violet in it, I can smell that purple floral. It's a little too green for me, but I'll leave that alone. Maybe it'll dry down by the end of this little video a little differently. And then Fracas also has, which is very tuberose orange blossom. Poof, also has violet in it, which I think is part of what I like about it. It makes it sexy. And Catherine Maladrino Mystere, which is a very fruity fragrance. Yeah, mostly smell fruit at the top, but further in the dry down, I do smell a little bit of that violet. And that is my purple fragrances for now. I know I'll have other ones come up in the future, but I'm gonna move on to Jasmine. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I just wanted to come back and update about Mystere. I think it has some, it smells like ambroxany or something, some sort of strong chemical smell with the orange and cranberry, and yeah, there's a lot of fruit, a little violet and rose. And actually when I smell up close, I like the smell better. Lots of times it's the opposite. But yeah, smelling at a little distance is just like kind of irritating to me. So I think I'm gonna put that up on my Kari. And then Lo Hiver, I don't know how to say it. I wonder if there's jasmine in it. If there is, I'll just put it in my jasmine perfume so I can keep exploring it with those. Yeah, there is jasmine. So this is like complex, and I feel like I need to explore it more to understand it and tell you more about it, or tell myself more about it. It has iris and violet. I can't even remember where I sprayed it. I remember when I was trying it before that I was like, oh, I maybe like this. Like, this really smells like spring. But it maybe also has gone off or something. There's some little smell I don't like in it. There's honey in it. Yeah, it's like a mixed bag for me whether I like this one or not. So I'll put it away to try again with the jasmine. And I will see you for my next video for the jasmine fragrances. Hi, Cozy Adventures. We are moving on to jasmine. I'm exploring jasmine fragrances. And jasmine's in a ton of fragrances. Some of them, it's the dominant note. Some of them, it's just maybe the dominant floral in it, or it just didn't fit in some other floral category, but I wanted to explore it. It has jasmine. It's interesting, like going through these different phases, and then I become more sensitized to the different notes, and I can pick them up more and understand what I'm attracted to in those notes and what I'm not as attracted to. And I thought I was really into jasmine, but I think I'm figuring out that I like jasmine as like the accessory to the main notes. I don't like it when it is a really strong jasmine usually. Maybe it would be different in something that's like not designer, that is like made of the actual florals or something. But I've found that when it's a strong jasmine, it really makes me think of kind of generic feeling designer fragrances. So today I am trying Kylie Jenner's Cosmic and another 13, which has jasmine. It's like a musky molecular fragrance, and Myth, which is a more like soapy musky fragrance, and Cosmic is also a like kind of light musky fragrance. So out of these three, I definitely like Cosmic the best. It has like a good like wafting sweet smell. It does have that designer jasmine smell that's like not that attractive to me, but it's a lighter, more airy version of that. So I see why people really like it. It's very pretty, it's airy, it's soft, it's jasmine-y. I can't remember what else is in it, but I was like, oh, I do see how this smells like the different designer fragrances I know where jasmine is dominant, but a very airy, soft, sweet version of it. Another 13, it turns out I do not like. And it's funny, it took a long time for me to get to test it because I bought it from someone on Mercari and it broke in the mail. And I bought it from another person on Mercari and I finally got it, and I don't like it. It has Cedalox in it, which is like Juliet has a gun, not a perfume. And I just don't like a heavy dose of Cedalox, and this has a heavy dose. It just smells like weird and scratchy to me. It reminds me of Milk by Commodity and the scratchiness I get from it. So I wonder if Cedalox is the ambroxan that uses. And then Myth is a soapy jasmine, but a like, I'm gonna spray it again, a fairly light, fresh version of a soapy jasmine. Whereas there's like a lot of them that are heavier and more opaque feeling than this that I probably would like actively dislike. This one I like as far as soapy musks go, this is a good one for me. Soapy musk isn't usually my go-to, but like sometimes it's a nice balance with like the other kind of fragrances that I tend to go for that are more sweet and decadent, or spicy and decadent, or ideally sweet and spicy and decadent. Yeah, I kind of really like that one. Myth by Ellis Brooklyn. I know sometimes I have skin issues with Ellis Brooklyn. I think because it's a clean perfume, it doesn't have some of the silicones that are sort of protecting skin from like volatile perfume molecules. So that sometimes bothers my skin. So like I wouldn't spray it on my most sensitive skin, but it seems to do fine on my arm. Yeah, right now I have Cosmic on this hand, and then I added, what did I get today? Oh, Mineral Milk from Dead Cool. So the combo of those two is like very sort of sweet, musky, dusky. The Dead Cool one has lavender, but it's like a veil of lavender and sort of sweet amberiness, but not that ambroxan Cedalox thing that I don't like. So like smelling that soapy feeling next to the sweet, I really like. I don't think I'd want to smell just like the Myth, but Myth next to these sweeter Cosmic and Mineral Milk is kind of a sexy vibe to me. But another 13 is a no-go. That was an expensive experiment. I'll have to see if someone else wants to pick it up for me from Mercari. It sounded so exciting from the notes. But yeah, I just, when things are heavy with the ambroxan, a certain like level of heaviness, I just can't do it. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I'm continuing on exploring the jasmine note in a lot of fragrances. And most of my fragrances in this category, even though it's been in, I'm sure, other fragrances, just not as highlighted as some of these. And these are, most of them are, that I have now are designer fragrances. So yeah, that it's an interesting thing for me to explore because I haven't been like initially very attracted to most of these, partially because of the kind of jasmine that's in it. I think it feels more formal and almost soapy or harsh to me in a lot of these fragrances. But the ones that I'm doing today have jasmine in them, but they also have a lot of other florals, and they have most of them have a sweetness to them as well, like a little bit on the Flormond side, some of them. So I will start with my favorite of them, which is the new Good Girl Jasmine Absolute. And this is how cute the bottle is with the flower on it. This has mandarin blackcurrant, jasmine bitter almond, and toffee and tonka bean as the notes that are highlighted. And what I smell the most, it definitely smells like a mix between the original Good Girl and the like huge list of notes that are in that. So there's like that at the base, but it's really well blended, so it doesn't feel like too complicated. And then kind of a salted caramel, which is maybe what toffee is compared to caramel. It has this, yeah, more salty. I like it better than a lot of fragrances that have caramel, the toffee. And the jasmine doesn't feel like it sticks out a lot. It just smells well blended, and maybe just like it's probably in the original Good Girl, but it's just maybe double dosed in this one. Yeah, and for me, this is a good one to go light on the sprays. I actually get less of a good smell, just sort of overwhelms if there's too much. So I sprayed like 5 sprays today, but I think in the future I would only do 3 at the most, like 1 here and 1 on each arm or hand. So that was my first one today. And now I'm going to go into Flower Bomb fragrances and Fame by Paco Rabanne, Cozy Adventures. So exploring some designer fragrances with the note of jasmine highlighted today. But they're all a mix. I think they're all a mix of different florals. It's not just jasmine in these. And I started off with the new Good Girl Jasmine, what is it called? Jasmine Absolute, which has a yummy toffee, like it smells like a salted toffee note that I really like, mixed with the Good Girl kind of base, and then the jasmine kind of pumped up a little bit, and this toffee. It's yummy. To me, less is more for that one, like only spray a couple times or it becomes actually overwhelming, at least to my nose. And then I decided to explore Flower Bomb, the flower bombs that I have, which is just the regular original Flower Bomb and the Tiger Lily Flower Bomb. And I think I need to try this again when it's hot. It's actually kind of chilly today because it's tropical notes. And it just feels kind of tight, like it's not opening up. So I'm not liking it very much today. But I thought that I would like it from looking at the notes. It has mango in it. It doesn't list patchouli like the original Flower Bomb does, but I feel like there still is patchouli in this one. And then the original Flower Bomb, when I first sprayed it, it smelled like a strong patchouli smell that I didn't like at first. And I know a lot of people say they don't even smell that much of the floral. I think what I get from both of them jasmine wise is this sort of this designer jasmine, and I wonder if they all get it from the same, that particular kind of jasmine note from the same scent making company, because that's sort of how it works. And yeah, regular Flower Bomb, I didn't like it when I first sprayed it, but as it got into the mid notes and dry down, I understood it more. It had a really good balance of sweet, like vanillic, and floral. And the floral smells definitely like a bouquet of florals. Nothing really, like the jasmine doesn't particularly stand out. It also, I think, does have orange flower and some purple floral, maybe iris or something. I can't remember. But I ended up understanding it. I ended up being like, oh, okay, I kind of get the flower bomb thing. Hi, Cozy Adventures. So I was looking at the flower bomb fragrances from the lens of the jasmine note, but also just exploring them really for the first time. I have Tiger Lily and I have the original flower bomb. And yeah, Tiger Lily I done not too into today. Although it kind of smells good next to the jasmine Good Girl Jasmine Absolute. But yeah, it feels tight. It feels like it's not opening up. So I'm going to try it in warmer heat someday. And then also continuing on with Victor and Wolf, I have the Good Fortune fragrance. And this one, the jasmine is very strong. It takes a while to settle down and sweeten up. And what it smells like originally, I picture like a really elderly lady with like big costume jewelry. It just feels like sort of old perfume and harsh to me. But now that I've had it on for like 20 minutes, that's died down. And even though I'm not super into it, I can kind of understand it more. It also has fennel in it. And I can't remember what the other floral is besides jasmine, but it's one that I'm not very familiar with. So it feels very like department store perfume, sort of vintagey, like maybe 80s vintagey jasmine. But when it gets in the deeper dry down, it does eventually sweeten up and the jasmine becomes more sexy to me once some vanilla starts showing through. In the beginning, I smell like zip vanilla, you know, like a lot of fragrances, even if vanilla is in the base notes, you smell it from the beginning. And this one, I don't smell it the first half an hour or 20 minutes, but I'm starting to smell it now. And then last one today I tried was Fame the Parfum by Paco Rabanne. And this one, the notes they highlight are jasmine, hypnotic incense, and addictive musk. And this one has mango, I believe, and coconut. It's another one that has some tropical notes. So I dabbed it on or sprayed it on by the Flower Bomb Tiger Lily, which has those notes. And I definitely liked it more than the Tiger Lily today, but I'm going to be exploring some tropical fruit notes before the summer, or like at the start of the summer, so soon. And I'll put these with those to try again when it's a little bit warmer weather. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I'm continuing with my jasmine note exploration, and most of these, jasmine isn't necessarily the top note, but it's the one that I'm highlighting. And these three, that's the case, I think. They're all vintage, and I've got Guerlain Chamade EDT and a batch from 1998. And it is a very green, powdery floral. So the kind of the jasmine that's in it, if I didn't say so, it's a Guerlain fragrance. The kind of jasmine that's in it is not very sweet. It's the soapy jasmine exactly, but it's fresh in a green way. Like, it very much smells like actual outdoors and flowers, but mixed with makeup powder and a strong vintage perfume smell. That's probably made of lily of the valley and some of the resins, cloves. I don't really like it, but it reminds me of my Gaga, so I bet that she had this one along with like cinnabar and youth dew and shalimar. It's like sits with all of those fragrances, but it's like the fresh version, like the green springtime version. Not fresh like citrus or soap. And I think, I can't remember, I tried this out earlier this week. I think it does sweeten up in the dry down. There is vanilla and sandalwood and amber in the base. So I'll leave that alone and I'll see after I finish talking about the other two if it's sweetened at all in this amount of time. So this is Immense and Exclamation. And I was trying out Immense. It's from, I think, 2003. And I was like, what is it reminding me of? And I think I just figured out it is Exclamation. They have very similar notes. So in a way, Immense feels like a slightly more modern, slightly more adult version of Exclamation. They're powdery vanillas. It's a nice blast of like cooling powder vanilla. Exclamation definitely has more of a sort of strong chemical, like a hairspray smell, which was popular then. Like the Electric Youth had that too. Distracted on the floor. Electric Youth had that too. But as it dries down, it sweetens up into more of a vanilla powder. Yeah, and Immense has a sweeter, more ambery vanilla, but definitely jasmine-y. Definitely still floral, and definitely still somewhat vintage profile. But I wore this to bed a couple nights and I really liked it. I like a strong powdery vanilla scent for bed, and I like that it looks like the Empire State Building. And they're both Coty, if I didn't say that, at Cozy Adventures. So I'm not finishing, I'm continuing my exploration of the jasmine note while I do a lot of different florals for Mother's Day month. Today I have several that are tuberose fragrances, primarily, but also have a strong jasmine. And then one that I think doesn't have tuberose, but it's related in some way. So let me get started. I think I might have just talked about these two when I was doing Orange Blossom, because a lot of tuberose fragrances also have Orange Blossom. So I have Fracas, however you spell it, which is a vintage perfume that Madonna famously wore and sort of modeled her own Truth or Dare perfume off of, which I haven't smelled, but I heard someone talking about it recently. It made me want to smell it because it sounds like it's very much like Fracas, but with more of a like vanilla dry down. Whereas Fracas stays sort of tart and floral all the way through. Tart with a sweet tuberose floral, and the tuberose smells a little bit bubblegummy, but definitely like you can feel the petals kind of floral. And I have a 2001 vintage batch of it and a new decant of it. And you know, maybe the new decant will age to be similar, but right now the vintage decant definitely smells richer, and the new one smells more sort of like high-pitched a little bit. Like I can feel it in my nose. But I like this one especially the vintage version of it, I think. No, I like the non-vintage one. There's something like when fruit or flowers are getting old, that sort of overripe or wilting flower smell that's in this, that's like almost off-putting but not. And I know a lot of people find that element sexy in perfumes, and sometimes I find it really off-putting and sometimes I like it. And then I also was trying Blanche Bet and My Way today, which I'll talk about next. Hi Cozy Adventures, continuing on with Jasmine perfumes with a tuberose element. I was working with My Way and Blanche Bet today, also Carnal Flower and L'Eau de Hyver, I don't know how to say it, which I don't think has the tuberose in it, but it does have jasmine. So let me start with My Way and Blanche Bet. Blanche Bet is, both of them star jasmine and tuberose. My Way also has orange blossom, which sweetens it up more, and a dollop of vanilla that's more vanilla-y than Blanche Bet. Blanche Bet has, I think it probably says it has vanilla, and some people think of it as maybe a vanilla perfume. Oh yeah, it definitely has vanilla and tonka cacao. Okay, but it is blended so much and with incense and a magical note called mystical, that it is a very different, very, very different fragrance than My Way, even though they both star tuberose and jasmine. This is, I use it more as a sleep fragrance. It's like a dreamy fragrance. I also think that I've noticed that once it oxygenates, the incense gets stronger, which I don't really like. I think I liked it the best when I first had my first month or two of sprays of it, and it's gotten more and more incensey, which I'm less into. But when I first had it, it was like super magical to me. And My Way is sweeter in a certain way. It's brighter with that orange blossom, and you don't have a sense of, like when I was talking about fracas, you don't have a sense of like the florals as with petals and everything. It doesn't feel realistic floral to me. It feels like that sort of what's the word? I don't want to say cliche, but what so many of the designer perfumes are like these days, that are sort of this blend of florals that don't actually feel very much like they're the flower. But I don't like it like by itself, but when I'm wearing it layered with some other things, sometimes it kind of comes alive and smells pretty magical. So that's what I think of My Way. And then Frederic Malle Carnal Flower that Dominique Ropion made. Hi Cozy Adventures. Continuing on with some floral perfumes with a strong jasmine note, and particularly ones with tuberose. I'm looking at Frederic Malle perfumes now, after having looked at Blanche Bet and My Way by Armani. Carnal Flower is kind of like the niche version of My Way. They're totally different fragrances, but they both star jasmine, tuberose, and orange blossom. But Carnal Flower is so real life floral. Like, it really smells like you have sprayed spring flowers on you with the pollen. I like it. I don't love it, but I do think it's special in that it has that very real, fresh florals, like sunshine, bees, and yeah, like an animalic, very natural thing going on. And then while I'm looking at Frederick Mall, I'm trying L'Eau de Havre, however you spell that. I don't know if you can see it. This someone included, I think, in some other order for me. And there's something in it that reminds me of, I'm gonna look it up now, that reminds me of Guidance. So I don't know, I feel like I already tried to figure that out and I didn't. Like it wasn't clear by the notes. Okay, let's see what the notes are. This has, okay, with jasmine and orange blossom, but it doesn't have the tuberose. And it has violet and iris as well. And some grapefruit, which is like Chanel Chance Entendre, I think. The purple florals and the grapefruit. And what is it, I wonder? There's a lot of different notes. It's green notes. I'll have to look deeply into it and let you know. It's not like it actually smells like Guidance. There's just something about the complexity of it and sort of the way that it comes together as a smell that reminds me of it for some reason. I'll also say, looking at these Frederick Mall fragrances, Carnal Flower is supposed to be like spring coming alive, and L'Eau de Havre, in the writing under it, it says winter is over, let's like remember what it smelled like or something. So it's supposed to smell kind of wintry, which I imagine is the purple florals. And compared to Carnal Flower, I guess there's something slightly wintry, but it's still got honey, it's got all these florals. It, to me, smells less like winter and more like the beginning of spring. But I think his concept is like thinking of winter once winter is over, so it actually is spring. It's an artistic mood. But yeah, I find this an intriguing perfume house that I'm curious to smell more of. And next I'll be going into some mostly designer fragrances where the jasmine really is the star. So like Valentina Born in Roma and Alien and Paradox, comparing all of those. Hi Cozy Adventures. I'm continuing on with floral fragrances that feature jasmine. And today I have 3 Gucci fragrances that I have samples of. I have Gucci Bloom, Gucci Flora Gorgeous Magnolia, and Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia. And I kind of wish I had I can't remember what the one is in the yellow bottle that's, I think, a little bit more vanillic of the Gucci Flora. But these were fun to try out, and I was surprised I actually like these 2, and I particularly like this one. And I was surprised because one of the 3 notes that's really featured in it is patchouli essence, it says. And I wonder if it's more like the flowers of the patchouli, because it doesn't have that super earthy note. It just smells like a kind of sweet, a little bit heavier floral that I can kind of recognize as patchouli. But it's blended really well, and yeah, usually I'm sensitive to large amounts of patchouli, but this one I really like. And dewberries, also the dewberry accord. I'm often sensitive to berry notes in fragrance because they're all synthetic and lots of times to me smell like a cheap body wash or body spray. But this one makes this smell like the color. It makes it smell like this sort of deep periwinkle lavender. It's really nice. It slightly reminds me of Angel because of the kind of patchouli that's in it. But if all the things that are like gross and sort of dirty and messy about Angel, and that's not to insult Angel, I think people like that it's got like a dirtiness to it. This doesn't feel dirty, it feels soft. But yeah, it reminds me a little bit of the deep dry down of Angel, where it becomes more just like a sweet, almost cookie-like fragrance with like a chocolatey patchouli. And doesn't smell chaotic, it smells kind of soft at that point. This doesn't smell like cookies, but yeah, there's something about the way that it dries down that reminds me of it. And this one has more of a smell that looks like pink. It's brighter, gardenia, jasmine, and pear blossom. Yeah, I like this one too. It's very subtle on me. Cozy Adventures. To finish up with the Gucci Flora and Gucci Bloom. Gucci Bloom is a tuberose and a really natural smelling floral that smells like pollen. It smells like bees. It smells kind of, yeah, intensely polleny to my nose. Like, I imagine that if you wear this, that bees won't leave you alone, probably. I don't dislike it, but I don't like it that much. It does remind me of Dosan by Diptyque, which I saw some other people were reminded by, which also to me is a little bit too harsh of a natural, intense, tuberosy floral, like going to an almost animalic birds and the bees kind of smell. And I think my allergies even get confused by it. And then I thought that while I was talking about these, I would also get out Alien, since Gorgeous Flora, Gucci Flora Gorgeous Magnolia was reminding me of Angel. And I have my sample of the original Angel in this bag because it smells so strongly. It needs to be extra contained. Yeah, I can smell it strongly just smelling in the bag. And it does have a similarity. This is like a very soft, almost like powdery version. Like if the original Angel is like a dark purple, or like the blue that it's made, but it feels even darker, like a dark purple, then this would make sense for the color of this, like this lighter, softer, powderier purple. It's an interesting connection that I made. And then this one I don't think I've really tried yet. This is Alien. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. This one's Alien. I want to get the other Angel that I have, Angel Elixir. Oops. Angel, okay. So Angel Elixir I know has a blend of different florals, including orange blossom, I definitely smell the jasmine immediately. That's nice. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I'm continuing on with my mostly designer floral fragrances that feature jasmine. And I was trying out Angel Elixir. When I first spray it, I smelled a nice strong jasmine, but an orange blossom, but then it fades. And I do smell more of the initial angel DNA, and it feels more like it's confused. On my wrist, I think I just get, my nose gets confused by the like cacophony of notes in angel, and it probably has some of the original angel in the base of it, even though it doesn't list those notes. And then I thought I'd get out Prada Paradox to compare, since it also has orange blossom and jasmine. I definitely like Prada Paradox more. To me, it smells like sort of generic department store perfume, but I was trying it when I was exploring orange blossom fragrances, and I do really like the way it wafts around in the air, so I understand why people like it and get compliments on it and stuff. Like if you don't smell it up too close, there is something more sweet and intoxicating about it. So that's Prada Paradox, the original, and then Prada Paradox Intense. Where's that one? Here we go. This one does not have the orange blossom, but it does have the jasmine. And a stronger vanilla. So I think same thing for that one. I like it in the air. It still smells a little bit like orange blossom, but maybe that's just because I have other orange blossom fragrances on. I definitely smell a nice strong jasmine in there. And Alien. Alien is like all about the jasmine. And for me, when I first spray it, it's a little overwhelming. But then as it dries down, it starts to smell sexier to me. But I think I like other versions of Alien a little bit better that I'll talk about tomorrow. And then I don't have the original Valentina Born in Roma, unfortunately, but I have the Intense. Definitely smell more vanilla in this one. Comparing it to these other designer department store kind of fragrances with a strong jasmine, I get more why people like this one so much. Because it does have a stronger, richer vanilla, at least this Intense version. And then jasmine's the main floral in it, I believe. Interesting. It's so interesting how sometimes I don't really understand a fragrance until I compare it to a bunch of other ones. Like when I've sprayed that before, I've just been like, oh, that just smells like another department store. Fruity floral kind of thing. Interesting. I'm now a little bit more interested in Donna Born in Roma. I love the extra dose of that, that I've never like particularly fallen for any of the other versions of it when I've like smelled it in store and stuff. And that I think is where I'm gonna leave it for now. And I am hopefully gonna tie this up in the next day or two, my jasmine exploration, so I can move on to some other things. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I decided while I'm here, I'm just gonna finish up with my jasmine note exploration for today. Next, I have a couple of rose fragrances. One is Ralph Lauren's Romance, and I've realized that, I like this rose largely because it's paired with a nice strong jasmine and blended really well with it, and it gives it this like tartness to the rose that I like. and it doesn't feel heavy. Neither the jasmine or the rose feel heavy. They feel just kind of bright and a little bit sweet and tart and a little bit airy. I'm pretty much out of it, but I could spray a little bit left today, and I really like that one. And then this one I hadn't smelled yet, and I just explored it. This is Morning Flowers by Jean Arthas. And it smells, I don't know if I would have figured this out if I hadn't seen someone's comment, but it does smell like Roses Vanille mixed with Intense Cafe in a way, or yeah, like Roses Vanille mixed with Intense Cafe. So I wonder if it's called Morning Flowers, like you have your like roses and your cup of creamy coffee, and that's your morning. And it does have jasmine. When I first sprayed it, the ambroxan was a little overly intense for me, but as it sat, it's becoming creamier. The vanilla is becoming a little creamier, and actually Roses Vanille is a little intense for me in that way too. It has a little bit of blaring, strong smell up close, but then with a little distance. So it's interesting. It really does smell like Roses Vanille, and then a little bit of this like creamy, sweet rose coffee drink thing going on. And yeah, how does the jasmine fit in? I think like the other rose that I was just talking about, the jasmine makes it a kind of brighter rose that I really like. And Cozy Ventures. So the fragrance I was just talking about at the end, about the rose that is paired with some jasmine that makes it this brighter, kind of sexier rose for me. And Ralph Lauren Romance is the one that I was talking about, and the Morning Flowers that smells like Roses Vanille, but has that similar kind of rose in it, even though they're very different fragrances. Next, so I looked at Alien briefly, and earlier in this exploration, and I was exploring last night Alien Goddess, and then had a realization when I was exploring it and found another fragrance that it reminds me of. So I want to share that with you. Alien is very jasmine heavy, the original Alien, and Alien Goddess Intense is the other one that I have. And Alien Goddess Intense I kind of like at the beginning, but in the deeper dry down I start really loving it. And I was like, whoa, what is that sexy smell? Like I was going like this because I had it on my chest last night. And then I realized, oh, it reminds me of Casimir by Chopard, which is a Michel Amarac fragrance from the 90s that's like a fruity vanilla. And it does have coconut in it, like this one, and does have jasmine in it. So I think it's a jasmine coconut vanilla that both of these have, that is like, that really strikes my fancy. And there might have been a couple other notes where I was like, oh, they do have like these multiple things in common. So this is definitely a stronger version of that smell, and does still have this, a little bit of this vintagey fragrance smell underneath it that this doesn't have. But the deep dry down of this, if you don't want to wait for the deep dry down, but you love that part of Alien Goddess Intense, try this one. Chopard's, what did I just say? Chopard's, I guess rewatch this video because I think I already said it. I love that one. And then Alien by itself I like, but I don't love. but as it gets deeper in the dry down, I like it more. But I got this Sand and Fog lilac wine that's supposed to be similar to the original Alien Goddess. And to me on its own, it's kind of boring. But if I add it, the original Alien, and punch up the Jasmine, then I really like it. And I was smelling these two together and I was like, oh, then that smells more like the Chopard fragrance and the Alien Goddess Intense. And that, my friends, wraps up my Jasmine exploration right now. I know a ton more fragrances that I have around, like testers of, have Jasmine and blended into them. But these were ones that mostly hadn't fit in other categories, or like Jasmine is really the star. And now that I've gone into the Alien Goddess territory, I'm stepping into the summer fragrances because I know that that's a really popular one for summer. So I'm going to start going into some like sexy summer fragrances, some tropical fruits. As we're moving into June, that's where I'm going to go next.